I'm Shane, and is with me as always is Trey.
Yes, sir. We are back again with another edition of the West Coast Podcast on this beautiful Friday, getting pretty close to Halloween time. The leaves are changing, the weather's starting to dip out a little bit. Actually, I've been having some pretty good weather. It hasn't gotten cold, so that's good. But we appreciate you guys for kind of grinding through this podcast with me and Shane. Shane's been out here grinding. He was doing a stream earlier today and has been getting into the streaming game with that, so be sure you guys check out Shane for streams as well as patch notes, which should be getting patches here soon in a minute. Shane will touch on that later. So we got that going on, and also check out my stuff on YouTube. I'm Trey is Raw. You can type me in Trey is Raw on YouTube. Been posting 2 videos within a 24-hour period, which is pretty rare for me. I posted up a college football 25 scheme that I think will help you guys. It's pretty effective, and so that will help you out if you guys are playing college football 25. So with all that being said, Shane, how have you been living these last few weeks? Do you have any updates on what's been going on, or are you just kind of treading water right now, so to speak?
What is going on, my man? Trey, I loved your video, bro. I just saw that you posted for the college football one. I loved your video for the cover athlete. Everybody needs to go check that crap out. Go check it out. It's really good. He took time on it. It's really fun to watch and see what happened. I'm not going to spoil it. Go check out his channel. I've been all right, Trey. I mean, besides having my hair turned gray on Madden, I've been pretty good, bro. I've been pretty good. Just trying to get ready for the next MCS tournament, which is coming right before Halloween. It is, I think, October 26th through October 29th, and then single eliminations are after Halloween. I think November 2nd. But yep. So unfortunately, I'll just bring this up. The last MCS tournament, I did not make it. It wasn't as much as my record as tiebreaker, which I failed on myself, and it's all on me. That I didn't play enough games. I thought that I was in the 300s. I thought I was going to make it. So I didn't worry about it, and unfortunately, I fell out because of tiebreaker rules. So I have to definitely be better on this MCS, so I'm just going to grind that to the ground. What's up, Rose? What's up, XN? We in this business. But yeah, Trey, I've been doing pretty good, bro. How about you?
Yeah, that's what's up. Glad to hear everything's going good on your end. I've been doing pretty good as well, just kind of grinding, treading water, so to speak. Loving this cool weather. Football season and Madden season is in full swing right now. So, with all that being said, what would you say, Shane, is like your favorite season? Are you more of a fall guy, winter guy, summer guy? What are you in terms of your favorite season? And also, I'll ask that for the chat. What is your guys' favorite season of weather?
Trey, it's gonna sound funny because I do have metal plates in my back. Well, metal rods, metal rod, whatever. And so the cold weather is not good for me at all. I mean, but my favorite season is winter. I love watching the snowfall. My least favorite, I've probably said it numerous times, is summer. I can't stand summer. It's too hot for me. Fall and winter are really cool. Spring is really cool because it's warm and it just gives you you can tell it's gonna get hot, which makes no sense to my brain whatsoever because I hate the heat. But I love summer nights. Does that count, Trey? But I'm more of a Peter Winter guy. X fans' favorite is late winter. Rose said Trey, Pats got robbed. NFL conspiracy trying to keep up the suck. Pats should have beat the Dolphins.
Alrighty, so Shane is indeed a fall guy. I would probably say I'm more of a fall guy myself. Summer nights, Shane. I do have to ask you, and then I'll get back to Rose. But when it comes to summer, are you a fan of the water? Are you a fan of swimming and stuff like that? And also, I have to ask you because you probably know more than me. But so say you're and this might be a dumb question, but when you're swimming, right, and it's hot and it's nighttime, do you still have to put on sunscreen? Or are you pretty safe from the sun in that regard? And also to go back to Rose on Patriots got robbed. The rule itself is dumb. It's stupid. But if we're going by the rule itself, it was not a touchdown. And if we're gonna allow Tyler Huntley to beat us 15 to 10, and the absolute abysmal performance the Patriots put on display on Sunday, I'm not going to get too up in arms about a close call. Yes, it should have been a touchdown, but if we're going by the rule itself, his heel hit out of bounds, and his toe, if it was on the sidelines, it would have been a catch. So that's kind of my whole take on that. But Shane, back to you on that.
Okay, so on the summer night, I don't think that you need um, sunscreen. I really don't. I don't really put sunscreen on. Like, I'm not really worried about it usually when I'm out there. But now, it's weird, Trey, because like summer nights are cool enough for me, right? There's no direct sun. It's calm out. It's just kind of like I like walking in like in the nighttime in summer. It just gives like a zen type feel, just kind of like winter. Like if you're walking outside and it's light snowfall and like the whole world seems like it's lit up by snow, and it's just a bright white light out. It's pretty cool. I don't like it when the roads start to get muddy though. It's disgusting looking. I and also Trey, I used to be a big swimmer when I was younger, but like my body just gets too cold in the just thinking about jumping in the lake or the pool. But I do get in once in a while. I probably swim like a couple times a summer, which is sad because back in the day, I mean, like every weekend we'd be at the lake or at a pool, and I'd be swimming for hours, and I mean hours, bro. Rose said spring or late summer, just because it's usually after the rain has sort of stopped. I feel you, Rose. I feel you on that. But yeah, Trey, I don't think that you need sunscreen in the dark, but I don't know, bro. You kind of got me off guard on that. I would say no, but I can't tell you 100% for sure. I can Google it. I'll Google it for you while you ask the next question, Trey.
All right, sounds good. So yeah, while Shane's googling that question, the question that everybody wants to know that's gone unsolved for many generations. I do have to throw it back over to Shane because he gave me a text last night and he was saying if the Seahawks lose, then I got a rant for you on that. So with that being said, I'm gonna throw it over to Shane to give you guys a rant about the state of the Seattle Seahawks. But first, I want to ask Shane, what were your opinions on Seattle going into the game, and how have they changed since you guys took the L to your guys' division rival in San Francisco last night?
Great question. So I'm going to go back to Rose. She said the rule is a rule, but it's fact his front part of back foot came down first. It's not like the likely catch versus Casey in week one where his toe was first. Just saying Pat's about to experience the suckfest of Drake May and blame Brissett for the shortcomings. I feel you that on that, Rose. Trey probably can answer that after. Um, so yeah, I got a little bit of a rant. Trey, I'll actually bring up her thing again at the end so you remember. Uh, you know, so here's my rant. Okay, so when Mike McDonald and the Seahawks were 3-0, my timeline was filled with I told you he was better than Pete Carroll. He's a genius. He's amazing. I knew he would do so much better with this roster than Pete Carroll. The game passed by Pete Carroll. Okay, fast forward now. They're a 500 team and they've looked like booty, right? They've looked terrible. Now the same people are saying The roster sucks. Pete Carroll's roster. It's not even Mike McDonald. Give him 2, 3 years. It's all Pete Carroll on the roster. Like this roster's below average. But 3 games ago, you were talking about how the roster was good and how Mike McDonald's a genius and Pete Carroll was washed up, and now you're making an excuse that the roster's not so good. Well, which is it? Because Pete Carroll led this roster to a 9-8 record last year. So if the roster's bad, then Pete Carroll did a good job, right? Right. And if the roster is good, like you said in the first 3 games, and Mike McDonald is struggling. And you know where he's struggling at is his run defense. I don't care what he was doing in the first half of last year in his overall rank. If you go for the last 8, 9 games when he was with Baltimore, and for the first 6 games this year, his ranking on run defense is 30th. 30th. That's not going to, he's going to have to adapt. And if you don't adapt, you're in trouble, right? And I'm not saying fire the guy or get rid of him. Everybody knows me. Like when Lamar Jackson was killing it and everybody was crowning him, I said it's too soon to crown him. Now people have fallen off on crowning him. I'm not really an overreactor so much as yeah, if the season's like 75% through and I'm like, yeah, they need to get it going. Yeah, that's not really overreacting. Overreacting is 3-0 Seahawks, Mike McDonald is the next Messiah. Now they're 3-3 and it's the old coach's fault. It can't be both. It's got to be one. That is my rant right there on that, Trey. I don't think the Seahawks. I think they're struggling, and the way they look on run defense, they'll be lucky to win 7 games, and that's not overreacting. If they don't fix their run defense, everyone in the NFC West is going to run all over them. They better figure it out, and they better figure it out fast. Again, just like I've talked to other Seahawks fans where they're like, oh, it's because you love Pete Carroll and, you want him fired. No, I don't want him fired. I don't even know Pete Carroll. I don't know Mike McDonald. I'm just going off of like you can't have it go both ways. If I say Trey is the best Madden player of all time in Madden 25, and then he loses a game in Madden 25, and I'm like, yeah, Trey's not that good anymore. Which is it? Are you good or are you not good? It just extremes for me. So, anyways, that was my little rant. Like, I was a little bit more heated last night when I was in the full emotion of like, damn, these people are just flip flopping. I can't stand flip floppers. It's kind of like with the Seattle Mariners. Oh, fire Scott Service and they'll get led to the playoffs. Well, they fired Service and they missed the playoffs. Well, that's because the roster's not good. They did the same thing. Like, damn. But yeah, Rose said she believes they're going to blame Brissett for the shortcoming. What did you think about that, Trey?
Yeah, no, I appreciate the rant. I definitely agree with you on that. And I got a question for you, kind of going off that. But yeah, I think sports fans in general are some of the most front runners bandwagon. I mean, it's kind of the same with New England. We come in week one, put up a pretty solid performance. I mean, it wasn't sustainable, but all things considered, it was a pretty good performance by us against the Cincinnati Bengals. And, people were coming up, they were saying, oh, Gerard Mayo's the guy, this and that. You fast forward, had a couple games. I mean, there were definitely some not so. It wasn't the coaching that I'm accustomed to. I'll just say that. But I think fans in general are a lot of front runners. And that's something I want to ask you. But Jacoby Brissett, man, that guy is tough. Like, he's behind the worst offensive lineman in the NFL. He's taken lick after lick, staying there, and I just don't think, and as much as fans want to, say, we're gonna play Drake May, and the offense is gonna get better, which maybe it will get better, and as much as people want to say that, yeah, the offense won't look better, but it's more exciting to watch. But I think deep down they know that it'll get better, but they want to set themselves up to have a low view of things so that they're not disappointed. But so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I don't think it's Jacoby Brissett's fault. I've seen some people say that Jacoby Brissett has missed reads here and there, but I mean, yeah, he might miss reads, but if you're just getting hit constantly after time, it's going to speed up your internal clock, and you're probably not going to miss reads. I mean, the same thing kind of happened with Mac Jones, and we've seen how that going. But I'm excited to see Drake May come on Sunday. He's making his NFL debut against the Houston Texans. Now, why he could make his debut against the number one ranked pass rush in the NFL, and they didn't make his debut last week against the Miami Dolphins team that was absolutely depleted of pretty much everything. I don't know. I don't know how they came up with that decision. Also, you have the the Jabril Peppers fiasco that's going on right now, and it's not a good thing going in New England, Shane. But I do want to ask you because we're talking about people overreacting, people you know being on this thing and overreacting to so soon. Do you think that it's a situation where it only recently happened, or do you think fans have always been kind of quick to react, even like when you were growing up watching?
Perfect question and good answer about the Patriots, Trey. I appreciate that. Rose said it's weird because they have a mid QB in Geno Smith. He'll look good versus Detroit, then blow versus San Fran. I'll answer that, Rose. I do feel that it's because your division rival has better film or better ways to play you because they see you twice a year. Um, Mike McDonald hasn't had a chance to get a system or players in, and who knows if what Seattle has fits what Baltimore Ravens have. Again, I would agree, Rose, if the whole second half of last year his run defense wasn't ranked 30th. That was his defense. That's what he wants. And look, and I'm not saying like fire the dude or the dude's trash. Like it's gotta play out. And yeah, like you just said, Rose. Like San Fran will know Seattle. Seattle will know San Fran. Unfortunately, Seahawks don't have Russell Wilson magic, right? And Pete Carroll magic against the 49ers. But hopefully McDonald grows. Like we'll see how it plays out because like regardless how it ends, Pete Carroll made a mark in Seattle. Hopefully Mike McDonald can as well. Trey, to answer your question, my man, about do you think people were always like this, even when I was growing up? Yes. You want to know the main difference? There was no social media. You didn't have to hear every dumb take, every emotional take, and sometimes very, very intelligent takes. There's some good takes on there on social media, but there's a lot more emotional people who live tweet or write, and it's crazy. Like bench DK Metcalf, cut DK Metcalf. He's a prima donna. Look how he looks. Look how he acts. But the dude was setting records for Seattle in his first, I believe, 4 years. People just say wild stuff. Like Geno Smith to me is just a average QB. That's just what I feel. And some people will say I'm wrong. Some people will say I'm right. Um, it is what it is. But no, Trey, just to answer your question, I just think that social media made a way bigger platform for people to air out their dumb takes. I'm not trying to be rude, but a lot of them are dumb. Okay. Like I said, there's some great takes out there, but I'm talking about the over emotional ones where like I said, 3-0. Mike McDonald is the next Messiah. 3-3. It's a huge different excuse and all that. Like Rose said, she heard backlash about DK being a big diva and he needs to be traded. I mean, Dude, like, yeah, like, is DK emotional? Yeah. Like, people are like, he has a fumbling problem. Well, he's only fumbled 9 times in six or whatever. I think they said 6 years. I don't know if he's really played 6 years though. I thought he was like maybe actually, yeah, maybe he has now. But you want to know why he fumbles, Trey? Is because he's so big and strong. If he was a smaller wide receiver like Tyler Lockett for the Seahawks, he wouldn't fumble as much because he's not breaking those DB's tackles like he does. Like the one where he fumbled, I believe, against Detroit. He busted through those two little DBs, and then the linebacker came when he wasn't ready and smoked him. Most wide receivers would have been tackled by the two DBs. But yes, again, just to answer your question, it's just a way bigger platform for everybody now. But yes, they were like this back in the day. It just was maybe your friend, right? Not 30,000 people.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, obviously, when you have social media and, people clamoring now all of a sudden, like how you said about how the friend will come and give an uneducated take. Now you have people giving all their uneducated takes, and the crazy thing is, there's a lot more. Back then maybe you think it was just a minority of takes, but some of these takes you cringe to yourself and you think, well, maybe I'm kind of the insane one because this take that I don't agree with has 1,100 likes, so maybe I'm the one that's crazy. So no, I definitely feel you on that. There was a controversy. I don't think I really got to see it about DK Metcalf, so I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if Shane can elaborate and give his opinion on what's going on with that one. But so yeah, and then going off that, where are you at with Do you think that the sports media side of things was better when you were growing up? Like when you're growing up, like, were you a fan of, ESPN, the whole First Take and, Skip Bayless, Stephen A. Smith? Was that something that you're kind of in tune to? Or, after a certain period of time, it kind of got, where now it's kind of like you said, it's just a bunch of, hot takes and drama and this and that. So, what is your take on sports media in general?
Okay, to answer this, so Rose is updating me on. I do agree, like Ayuk and JSN and Tyler can all rotate, but like at the same time, you need a DK at the same. You know what I mean? Like it just depends on who you need. The sideline viral clip of DK going off on the headsets where everyone was getting the DK heat for what Trey asked. From what I heard from Seattle reporters, he was mad at the offensive coordinator. And then also, Geno Smith later on said, "What the F are we doing?" And it looked like he was talking to either Mike McDonald or Ryan Grubb, which is the offensive coordinator. Like, can we throw past the sticks? So, honestly, it looks like Geno and DK don't like the play calling. And DK was freaking out on the headset. I mean, it is what it is on that. I mean, I don't think it was over the top. I just think that, and I'm being honestly non-biased when I say this, like just like Bo Nix ripping into Sean Payton. I don't think it was that terrible. Some people thought it was bad, but not as much as DK. But Bo Nix technically ripped into his coach in person more than DK did on the headset. It's just funny what certain people can get away with and certain people can't get away with. Trey, growing up, honestly, I didn't have cable TV, so I was kind of not in the mix for like talk shows and sports centers. Basically, like, bro, honestly, I'd get up, I'd go to school, I'd play outside, I'd play sports like organized sports. I'd come home, eat, maybe play video games once in a while when I was younger. Then teenage life, I did the same thing, but I played video games a little bit more when I was chilling with my friends. But we like honestly, bro, we would be playing outside till 2, 3 a.m. on the weekends playing like football, like outside in the street in the snow. sometimes go to the park, play basketball. I mean, and then when sports happen, yeah, we watch all the sports still, just like we do now. The only difference now is like I watch a little bit more like sports analysts than I did when I was younger because obviously I can't be going playing football and basketball and baseball like I did or soccer growing up because, you know, A, my body can't take it. I'm older, but B, um, my friends wouldn't be playing either anymore. Rose said, "Yeah, when you have an elite guy like DK, same as Jamar's on Sports vs. KC, if they're competitors and they come with baggage, you get good with bad, just not good." I fully agree with Rose on this one. That's 100% a great take, Rose. But yeah, Trey. So I didn't really pay attention, but like it was a little bit different. Even when I first moved out on my own and I got Sports Center, like they didn't do what they do now. They'd more report the sports and like talk about accomplishments more or like yeah maybe like if an incident happened they'd be like oh I can't believe this happened. Now like guys with like Skip Bayless or like you know those kind of guys they're just going for a reaction, bro. It'd be like if we're big, if West Coast Podcast blows up and we're big, Trey, and we want conflict and we want ratings, I'll come on here right now even if I don't believe it, right, and be like, Mike McDonald needs to be fired tomorrow. He's horrible. Go back and rehire Pete Carroll. Mike McDonald is drowning. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's inexperienced. He needs to be fired. Go get Pete Carroll. Save the Seahawks. Our ratings would be blown up, good or bad, but people would be talking about it. You feel me, Trey? So that's where I'm at on that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and you know, I kind of agree with like with your take about how you're saying with DK Metcalf. You know, we saw Bo Nix, like you said, get fired up at Sean Payton. You know, and I think it's like a different type of energy. You know, you had a certain situation. I don't know if we kind of want to get into that, but it happened in college football with Alabama and Vanderbilt. Now, when it comes to a situation like that, to me that's a completely another story. When you're kind of being like a sore loser, and just kind of taking things too far. But if you're just fired up and you're asking a serious question, like if you're not happy with how the offense is going and you're saying, like, hey, what's it going? I'd be more concerned if like they just had a demeanor to where they just didn't care. Like by them getting fired up by the offensive coordinator, at least to me, it dictates that they actually care about winning and that they're competitive and they're not just kind of out there going through the motions. But with that being said, Shane, like when you were playing sports back in the day, right? Would you say that you got pretty heated when things weren't going too well, and how did you kind of control yourself when things might not have been going exactly how you kind of felt back in the day?
You know, I got fired up. Like I got fired up, but in a good way for the most part. I never once brought my teammates down in the sense of like you suck compared to me, I'm better. Even if I was vastly better, and like even when I'll even use basketball. Okay, so it was highly competitive rec league, highly competitive basketball tournaments, like legit tournaments. Okay, Trey, like yes, like this wasn't organized sports. It was my brother and I and our couple buddies, and like, yeah, I get fired up. Like if I'm making and one, I might scream and one, and like, cause I'm emotional. Or like you hear me on Madden, I'm kind of like that in real life sports. And like, yeah, if an opponent talks trash to me, oh yeah, bro, I'm running my mouth back. But I don't I don't scream at my teammates even in organized sports. I might be like, "Come on, let's go. Let's go. You got this. You got let's focus. Come on." Something like that. Because all you're going to do is if I'm like, "Dude, you're effing sucking. Like, what is going on with you? Like, you're trash." That is so negative. Like, it's not going to really help. It just causes conflict between each other. Now, if you have to like when I was playing sports and like One time, this kid scored on me and goalie twice. He was my own defender, and he accidentally slid kicked it into my goal. And he apologized to me, and I'm like, it's all good, bro. Just we gotta focus a little bit more, because you know what he did? He apologized because he knew he screwed up. So what would I look like if I screamed at him, right, Trey? If I yelled at him and called him names? That's not being a leader. That's being a bully. He already knew he screwed up. Now, if he would have been like, "Oh, that's your fault. Like you should have stopped it," and came at me aggressive, being honest, yeah, I probably would have been like, "Bro, you're the one who kicked it into my goal. That's not on me at all." Because it's not. And when I failed at something, when I screwed up, I would say I screwed up, or I like, damn, I'm sorry, I should have made that. Like this year in Hoop Fest, Trey. Went to the free throw line. If I make both free throws, we win the game. We move on to like I believe it was like the final four, and I missed the first free throw. The other guys were calling me names. Like honestly, like the guys we were playing, like were calling me bitch and fucker. And then I made the second free throw, and I looked at him and I said, "What B?" But I said the word because, like, dude, you called me names, yada yada. But I apologized to my teammates because I said I would have made it. Like it sucks because like back in the day, Trey, we kept stats when we were in rec league, and I was close to like 87 or 88% from the free throw line. I'm older now. I don't play as much, but I still apologized. Like I love taking the last shot in games, Trey. I've made tons and I've missed tons, and I'd rather have it on my shoulders so nobody else can get the blame. And that's how I was even in soccer because I played high comp soccer, Trey. Like that was my one where a D1 school was looking at me. I would have been interested in seeing baseball, but I quit for soccer because I could really throw a baseball really fast. But no, man. I mean, yes, I would get fired up and talk trash to the opponents that they're talking to me, and if even if they weren't trash talking, like this, I would pump myself up or pump my teammates up, or I'd bump chests with them. But like, nah, like if somebody's a lesser player than me on my team and they're giving complete effort, I will never down talk them. So I'm hoping that's what you're asking, Trey.
Yeah, no, exactly. I definitely get what you mean, you know. You're in the heat of the moment, you get fired up. I think it's definitely important to kind of keep your composure. And I mean, you know, we've seen it, you know, when you play Madden, obviously, I've seen you get pretty heated. But for the most part, I think you're pretty cool, calm, and collected. Even more so than some of the other streamers that, you know, stream Madden. So, you know, shout out to you on that. So it sounds like that's something that you've been a pretty good at. So, you know, what would you say, and this is another good question. What would you say is like your biggest pet peeve? Would it when it comes to, you know, competitive things? Would it be like, you know, people who are sore losers, you know, people who are bad teammates, people that, you know, don't take accountability for, you know, when you lose? What would you say are some of the people in sports that you can't stand when it comes to that one?
Yeah, I love your questions, Trey. Hard hitting questions, fun questions to answer. Um, my biggest like annoyance is if I'm playing like so back in the day, like when I'm like in my 20s and my even early 30s, I'd play people one on one in basketball because they'd say they'd beat me just because I'm not the most athletic looking guy because I'm not, but very technical, very skill based. Like, and I'm just being honest. I'm not trying to be like bragging. I'm just being honest. And if I beat them, they'd be like, "I'm not trying. I wasn't trying." Like, stop it. Stop the cap, like people say. Like, you were trying. You got beat. Just be like, damn, good game. Let's play again if you want. We play again. I hate people, and they've been on my team before, and we lose, and they're like, well, I wasn't trying hard enough, or I wasn't trying enough. Like, we would have won if I was trying. Well, then why weren't you trying? You know what I mean? That's one of my biggest my one of my biggest pet peeves. Another one, Trey, is when a person blames everyone else but themselves. Those two go hand in hand. Like, you're not perfect. Like, nobody's perfect in a game. And yes, it is true. Like, if I score 30 points, right, and I shot really great, it's more like I didn't really lose the game like the guy who scored 2 points who shot awful. But, like, it all comes around. It all goes around. It all comes around. And you just have to be honest and just like even if you think your guy's effed up, right? But they tried their hardest, tap them on the shoulder, say good game, dap them up. Don't do the whole blame game. But nah, yeah. But top of the list by a little bit is people who say they weren't trying when they lose.
Yeah, no, I've had that happen in Madden. I mean, it's kind of smart though. Like if you're gonna be the kind of person that's gonna talk trash the whole game, and then at the end of it, if you get beat, you can just say, "Well, I'm not trying." It's kind of like a convenient excuse. So it's like if you're winning, then the trash talk is justified. But if you're losing, then you can just be like, I wasn't trying." So yeah, I definitely hear you on that, but kind of when you were going through your background, talking about, playing hoops and playing soccer and all that, and I really enjoyed that backstory. But something else I kind of I wanted to get you to kind of rehash. That's kind of on the same wavelength. I know you've kind of got into it a little bit, but I kind of want to ask you again because like the stories that you were telling were pretty hilarious about when you were a Pop Warner coach for your son and kind of the back and forth that you would get to with fans on the sidelines. So I was just curious if you could kind of give me a little bit of Pop Warner stories back in the day, if you could. If
Oh man, Trey. Let's see if I can remember some. Um, I will tell you the biggest pet peeve on that, man, is that everybody thought that their kid was going to go to the NFL. Where, long story short, there was one kid out of the whole group that I coached that had D1 offers. That's it. So one coach over the 6, 7 years I coached had a D1 offer. Half the kids didn't even continue playing in high school. But I mean, it was one of the most awful coaching experiences I've ever had in my life. And but at the same time, I was appreciative because I got to coach my oldest. Had coached with a close friend of mine, but like it was one of the most annoying coaching jobs probably out there. Like parents were unappreciative. Like there's literal almost fist fights with each other, not with me. Well, I did have a guy that was how do I say it? One guy who was like gang affiliated, who acted like his son was like amazing, right? And I was kneeling down, and he was standing over me, and his girl was in the middle, just like they're watching, and like he said something like, and he thought that my ass wouldn't reply like smart, and I said what? And he's like, oh, stand up and say it. So I stood up and said it to him, and his girl was like, damn, like he said it, and then it was a little bit of an argument, and then it was what it was. But dude, it was just one of the wildest times. Like we had a trophy presentation tray at the end of the year, right? We put in money and all that, and at the end of the year, we find out that the guy who ran the whole thing stole the whole money, and the kids didn't get any any trophies, bro. And then the parents were mad at us because they didn't get trophies for a 1-8 season, and I was like, yo, not everybody gets trophies when you have bad years. There's another one where there's almost a fight with me involved, and this guy was in the stands with his girl, and my wife was like the team manager, whatever they're called, with the clipboard and all that to get like stuff done. And he was running his mouth, and I was coach at the time. I told my assistant coach to take over for a second. I went over there and I told him, come down, don't talk to my wife like that, come down. And my wife had to shoo me away, and everything else happened all right. But like, just kind of those kind of stories, man. Like, it was fun coaching some of the kids and watching them like just do their thing. But like, honestly, Trey, it was one of the most unappreciative jobs you could do out there. I mean, so if you can spark my memory on any other stories, I will be glad to tell you. Because like all my brain right now is thinking about when I was a post office worker, and I told the one guy to, when he tried to come off his porch like he was gonna do something, I said, "I'm not that mailman," and you better stay on that porch, and he did. Like, that crap was funny though. But yeah, just stuff like that, Trey.
Yeah, no. The one story that I was actually thinking about was that one time that you were coaching and there was a situation where apparently there was someone in the crowd that was getting on you because you were running the same plays, and then you turned over and said, "Well, why don't you talk to the offensive coach? Like don't talk to me." Do you remember that story at
Oh
all?
yeah, yeah, yeah. No. Yeah. I remember that. I was the offensive coach, but I was the head coach. Yeah, but he was a DC. So it is from my own fan, man. It's from our own team, and he's just chirping at me like, "This ain't Madden. This ain't Madden." And I look back and I go, and he goes, "Yeah, you running the same plays." And I'm like, "I scored 35 points. Talk to the defense if you got a problem with it." That's what you're talking about, Trey. Yeah, I remember that now. I was actually at Shadle. People won't know what I'm talking about, but it was Shadle High School. And it didn't even make sense. Like, this ain't Madden. This ain't Madden. You're running the same play. I wasn't running the same play. I was running the same, like, three or four plays, but based off the same formation. But it doesn't matter. I had 35 points on offense. So, yeah, that was that story, Trey.
Yeah, no, it's a crazy story, and I just kind of found it funny how like which is warranted, but like how your major thing when you're streaming is about how people run the same blitz, and then and then you get to coaching, and someone's telling you you're kind of doing the same thing, but like when that whole situation happened, and you said, and you were the offense, and you said, well, talk to the DC if you get mad or what have you. Like, did you kind of feel bad after the fact after you said that, or and like, how did the DC react? Was he pretty cool about it, or how did was it just kind of like a funny, back and forth thing that went on?
Honestly, well, yeah. It, See, they run the same blitz, Trey. At least I run the same three or four plays. Okay, I'm joking, but yeah, I get what you mean on that. I don't think the defensive coordinator heard me. But the defense coordinator was a super nice guy. Like, he did anything for everyone. Like, if you need your kids to be taken home and you weren't going to be there, he'd drive 30 minutes out of his way after a 9 p.m. practice to drop your kids off. You need to borrow $10 for pictures. He'd give the kids $10 so they could get a picture. One of the greatest guys, honestly, I've worked with as a coach. He was pretty damn cool. But no, man, it was like the last game of the year, bro, and like it was just it was just frustrating, like, and I felt more bad for that the kids had to deal with it, like, hear it, and not one parent thanked me when the season ended. Not one parent, not one, bro. Like, I took like 2 hours of my time, 5 to 6 days a week, to try to help coach, try to teach discipline on some of the kids because they didn't listen. I think we went like 1 win and 7 losses, bro. So it's not like we had a horrible year, but at the same time, man, like, if I wanted to be an excuse maker, could be like, well, I was coaching a bunch of 9-year olds that were playing 11-year olds. everyone knows that if you're 9, you're much smaller than 11-year-olds because like Pop Warner was weird. Trey, it was like 5 to 7, like 7 to whatever, 9 to like 11 or 12, and then 12 to 14 or something like that. So like you'd want to grow up with that team, right? You'd want to have like basically what you'd want is like all your players to be 9 years old, then stay in the same division, get bullied when you're 9, start to fit in when you're 10, and then bully everyone else when you're 11. But like we were the smallest team by far, Trey. Like I'm just gonna make it up. Like it was ridiculous. Something like our average weight was like 53 pounds, and we'd be playing guys that had kids that had like 80 to 85 pounds players on average. I mean, you're not gonna win many but like I mean, it's just because like a lot of those parents were crybabies, and the exact parents you see that are on social media talking about, a coach or a player that's in the NFL.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's crazy because you think about how, those Pop Warner coaches, I mean, like you said about the defensive coordinator, about how he would go out of his way essentially to help, these kids. And it's not like, it's like high school or, even college when it's even worse. I mean, granted, they're in college and they get, paid pretty well to do it, but I mean, even with that, I mean, you think about all the stuff that like Nick Saban and Chip Kelly and all them dudes have to go through, and taking care of their kids and stuff like that. It's definitely not a easy job at all. But when it comes to coaching, would you say that that was something that was ever in the cards? I know, like, not right now. I mean, I know you kind of did the Pop Warner deal to kind of help out with your son and all that, and probably that whole experience kind of scarred you scarred you from ever coaching again. But was that ever a thing that you kind of wanted to pursue at one point? And if you were a coach, like what would you say your coaching style would be? I think I think you give me kind of Mike Tomlin kind of vibes if I were to think of you as a head coach. So what would that be? Well,
So it's kind of crazy because it is kind of like, I mean, I'll explain it. Um, and another thing going back, dude, like those 6 years, I was making pretty good money, so it wasn't a big deal. But like, I mean, myself, my close buddy, the defense coordinator, and maybe like a parent here and there would buy snacks. So we would have to take on most of the money on getting snacks for people because a lot of the parents couldn't afford it. And like you think that a lot of parents that couldn't afford stuff and were like their kids were getting, like I paid for some other kids' photos just like the defensive coordinator did, just like my buddy did. They'd be more appreciative, right? Nah, that wasn't the case. So, no, it just wasn't that fun. The funny thing is when I used to be a defensive coordinator for my buddy, before I had to take over because he went away for like a year. But I was a defense coordinator, and I basically would do an umbrella defense. Like if you picture an umbrella laying sideways but open, that's how I do it because in Pop Warner, lots of times all they're trying to do is get the fast kid to the outside, right? So I would spread my defense ends as far as apart as you could, and then I'd pinch the defensive tackles. I'd put the linebackers outside in the gap where the defensive end and the cornerback were, and then I'd have the safety pull up a little bit. And honestly, I gave up very little on the defensive side, but what happened was when I had to take over for the head coaching for my buddy who was gone for the whole year, uh, the guy who's a defensive coach, he was not comfortable really calling offense. I didn't know that he didn't know that much about defense either, but he was such a great guy that it was what it was. And on offense, bro, I did honestly it was a spread. So like I ran a spread offense. So I'd have I believe two wide receivers to the left, a wide receiver to the right, a running back, and a tight end. And I would motion the slot wide receiver over and either have the QB, hand the ball off to him on a reverse, fake handoff to um, the wide receiver, then hand it off to the running back, or do a quick slant, bubble screen to the wide receiver if I didn't motion him over. Sometimes I started adding like trips in the end, so like I would do a quick screen over there. I mean, my offense was putting up really good points, but like we were young, it was fun. But like if I ever got serious into like baseball or into coaching, well, I just gave it away. I think I'd go back to baseball. I really love baseball. I understand it a lot, like more. Like I know enough about football, but like baseball, I just know like you know what I mean, the ins and outs and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, makes sense. It'd be funny if like maybe we could get into coaching and I'll be the offensive coordinator, you be the defense, and then the same thing happens. You'll be like, well, blame Trey because I have this many points in the third quarter. Yeah, no, but that is crazy. The one thing I did want to touch on is have you seen? Well, you're probably familiar. Hell, you probably even your Pop Warley might have crossed over at some point. But the whole Snoop Dogg and what he does with the Pop Warner, was that ever a thing that you kind of got involved to? And did you see the Underdogs, which essentially is a movie about Pop Warner? And if you did see it, was it kind of like that from when you were there? Or
What
not?
was it called?
The movie, it's called The Underdogs. It's on Amazon Prime.
I
It came
can't
out
remember
like
if
a
I've
while
seen it or
ago,
not, bro.
so
I can't remember if I've seen that. Like it's just picture parents yelling at you saying that their kid's an NFL star and you don't know what you're doing. Even if you do kind of know, like, was I the greatest head coach? No, but did I know enough? Yes. I'm sorry I can't make your kid grow and get more weight. Like it is what it is on that. No, we were. I don't know if Snoop's division was ever in Pop Warner. I do know that there was one team when my son was like 5 years old, bro, and we went to a jamboree and we had to play multiple teams and we played the team that was called the Lions and they were like the biggest 8-year-olds I've ever seen and they were just they basically hurt all our kids. All our kids were hurt from them. And I guess that they did that to every other team out there. Well, when we played them in a regular season game, I think they beat us like 35-0 or something way back in the day. They were the only team that I knew for the 6, 7 years that I coached that made it to the California championships. I think they ended up losing in single elimination, but they were the only team that I knew of that made it down to the California big time Super Bowl single elimination tourney.
yeah, no, it's funny and like you said the Lions, and I'm thinking back about the movie, and I actually think their name might have been the Lions. So yeah, that's pretty nuts for sure. Another TV show, if anyone that's watching this back and wants maybe a good TV show to watch, but Friday Night Tykes is a Pop Warner show, but it's based out of Texas, but. That show's more of like a documentary style, and it's kind of what Shane is subscribed. Just coaches that kind of take the whole thing so serious. I understand a little bit about how you want to kind of get into them, make sure they understand what it is to be a team and kind of all of that, and that it's good if they try, but at the same time, I think people take it way too seriously at the end of the day. But Shane, I do want to get your whole take on the state of Madden. You tested me early. We kind of talked about it before the stream about this whole A gap pressure that you wanted to touch on. So I'll throw it over to you to kind of give maybe another rant on what's your take on the blitzing and all that's going on right now, Madden.
Okay, so Trey, I have watched Friday Night Tykes. I did like that show. Funny enough, I don't. Are there more seasons, or did they do only like a season or two? I forgot about that actually, but I did watch it.
I think there was like maybe 3 or 4 if I remember correctly. I haven't seen it in a while either. It was like a little bit before I watched it, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. My son just texted inside our podcast. He said the concussion tent had a line of purely our team that game. Corey, that is true as hell. I just remember it now. You guys were underneath that red tent, I believe. um, so yeah, so let's get into Madden, Trey. I did write you. I'm gonna go back to our text message. Oh, the pump fake glitch. So there's a pump fake glitch out there. This is how bad the game is. They can't block A gaps, right? Unless you do 3 or 4 setups. But they have a pump fake glitch out there that dumbs out zone coverage unless you're pressed. So let me get into this. I'll just explain it for anybody who wants to find out how to do it and how to stop it. Hey Trey, make sure we clip this, okay? We're gonna clip this part for you guys. We're gonna put it on TikTok. I'm gonna put it on shorts on here. But start right now. I'm gonna explain the pump fake glitch, how to run it, and how to completely stop it so these bums can't do it to you. So how you do the pump fake glitch? You tap and then tap. So you slow double tap. You do not quick double tap. You tap, pause, tap. It'll make the defensive back run towards the line of scrimmage in zone coverage. So if they come up against you and they press zone and you do the slow double tap you will do the pump fake glitch on them. Their zone coverage man will run off, run back towards the line of scrimmage, and you just have an easy touchdown pass. How you stop it? Man coverage. Well, that's dumb because then if they motion out, they know if you're in man coverage, yada yada, right. Well, there's another way to stop it if you run zone. It has to be zone press. So the zone press, if you're pressing in zone, you will not get beat on the double pump because you're playing underneath already. That is how you stop the double slow tap pump fake glitch. Right there. You can play zone, but press or man coverage press. Do not play zone backed off. Now, here is my rant about this whole state of Madden, which I like. This is probably the least fun that I've had in about 4 years of doing Madden. Yes, you have to adapt if you want to play. You have to just get over it if you want to play. And I am, but like it's really hard this year. Like, and it has nothing to do with my skill level. It has nothing to do with like, well, if you're winning more, would you say this? I mean, Madden 20 was a so-so game for me, but I was winning a buttload. It's just how games play. Like the trucking animation, and then like, are we serious with the mug blitz and the dollar A gap or dime A gap blitz, whichever you want to call it, or which one they're running? They're horrible. It makes the game horrible. So I come out as a quarterback, right? I'm on offense. I'm the quarterback. And I want to hot route a couple plays because I see what defensive coverage you come out in. But you're an A gap special, and I hike the ball, the left guard and the running back dumb out and you sack me. Or I throw it so quick I get picked off, right? Okay, but you should adjust. Well, okay, there's a 3 setup. There's a way to set it up to block the A gap, but it's 3 you have to do 3 different blocking animations to get it to work. But by the time you do that with how early we are in the year, you can't hot route that much. So you almost have to come out and stock offense and maybe get like 1 or 2 hot routes at best if you're quick finger triggered. I shouldn't have to double team my right end, ID this guy, half protect this way to block an A gap. You know what would stop all this? Bring back pinch protection, EA. Bring back pinch protection, EA Madden. I mean, are you that dumb? Are you brain dead? You bring back pinch protection, the A gap is dead. Now we're playing chess. We're playing chess now. I pinch protect. You blitz a cornerback blitz. I should get sacked. I shouldn't have to do 3 or 4 setups to block an A gap because the left guard and the running back want to kiss each other instead of blocking. Fix it, EA. Bring back pitch protection. Did I break it down enough for you, EA? The A gap would be dead. The bug would be dead if you pitch protect. And then if people want to be like, well, that'll stop blitzes. No, play checkers then when you're out on the field. Throw a crossman blitz. Throw a cornerback blitz. And if I guess wrong and I pitch protect, I get sacked. I get screamed at from the blitzer off the edge. Bring back pinch protection, EA. So I think I said it clearly enough, Trey. Don't you think?
Yeah, no, you sounded very clear, and I think it is definitely time to bring back pitch protection. It was interesting, going back to the whole pump fake glitch about how they pump fake and they make the nearest defender come in, and I mean that's even going back to a legacy issue, like you're on defense, someone's rolling out, and you hit in the right trigger to send in the closest defender to chase the quarterback. And instead of the nearest defender chasing him, it'll send the guy that's way the fuck over there to chase the quarterback, and you end up getting a completion. But this thing is even more egregious than that. And that was a classic rant. Good job by Shane. That's how he's gonna be bringing the energy once we get more views. It'll be hot takes, and Shane will get more animated like that. And I'm pretty hot and bothered by him getting animated like that. I'm not gonna lie. But with that being said, it was pretty funny because Shane, because I have the way the party chat is set up, I have the party chat, and then on the side it's like a translating like a captions thing. And it's Shane said double team your right end, but on the captions it said I need to double team my right hand, and I just thought that was pretty hilarious. But yeah, no, that's crazy. So going forward, Shane, you got the Most Feared tournament coming up, and the MCS is in full swing. This will be a kind of a long-winded answer and pretty broad, but what do you think EA Sports need to do? And that's another thing. You have a lot of people that are upset in the Discord crying to EA about the tournament structure. So, if you were in charge of setting up these tournaments, how would they solve the issue with making these tournaments run more smooth going forward?
You want to know how I'd make it work? I wouldn't listen to them. How about that? I would take it with a grain of salt, my man, because they complain about everything, and then they harass the workers in the Discord. You know how I'd fix it? I'd go back to how they did it way back in the day. You have instead of making it 2-3 months though for each tournament, hey, October is a tournament. You have October 1st, October 31st to try to make top 544 on the leaderboard. All you have to do is log in on your console, go to head to head, and then October tournament, and click in there. And it's all Madden, MUT. Simple as that, Trey. And then people are like, "Oh, but what if I'm not? What if I'm not home?" Oh well, that's not EA's fault. Like, if you're so good, quit your job, get streaming, win the tournament. You got a month, right? You got a month. That's how I do it. You got all of October. You've got all of September. September tournament, October tournament, November tournament. Do it from the first to the last day of the month. Top 544. Well, what happens when like Kiv and those guys are making double accounts because they have such such a great record that they try to screw the leaderboards, which they did. They did. They flat out did. Kiv and those guys did. Okay, they did. My answer, oh well. And it bugged me because I played them a couple times when they did that. Multiple pros did that. But oh well. If I can't finish in the top 544 in 31 days or 30 days or 29 days, depending on the month, that's me. That's on me. And well, what about glitching? What if they glitch you off? Well, then if they glitch you off, record it. And then maybe have Discord where you can send videos to people and they can look at it, right? You can open a support thing, make a support thing online where you can send it in and then they can reverse it. But like, I don't know. I would just make it a month, Trey, online. If it's September 1st to the last day of September, October 1st to the last day of October, like, that will give you enough time. You want to play at 10 a.m., play at 10 a.m. You want to play at 12 a.m., play at 12 a.m. You want to play at 5, 6, 7 p.m., do that. Well, what about the people that can play it all day? And I can only play it 3 hours. That's the same way with the tournament structure. I saw the same people complaining that they didn't have enough time on a Thursday night when it was from like 1 to 8 p.m. Then I saw people complaining that on the weekend they can't play because they have to go somewhere. Like, sorry, I would just make it a month and I would put it on the console tray. That's what I do, and I'd leave it at that.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, obviously, you're gonna have people that have time constraints, people that can't play. I mean, and it's like you understand that because you're not like all these other players where and no offense to them, but they don't really have a life. They're kind of playing, so to them it really doesn't matter. But you have kids, you have a wife, you have things that you have to do. But you're saying like you would keep the same energy if it was for you, like give the advance, say this is what it is, and then if you don't like it, then oh well, like you said. Something else because I was thinking about this and it's been kind of bothering me lately because I can't remember what the events are, and I'm not even sure if you remember what happened, but do you remember? I don't know if it was like 2 years ago or something. There was a tournament that you entered into, and there was some sort of problem where you qualified and you were supposed to create an account, but they didn't say anywhere that you had to create an account, and it was like a big fiasco. Do you have any idea of what I'm talking about right now, or did you kind of forget about what, or do you even know what I'm talking about at all?
No, bro, I know exactly what you're talking about. It was on the PlayStation 5 tournament on the console, and it was last Super Bowl. And I won the tournament. I cleared it out. They said, "Congrats, you made it to the single elimination. You win. I don't remember how many games I had to win. You win this amount, and it wasn't a lot of games, but if you win it, you get to go to the Super Bowl. You'll be on the sideline. Whoop de whoop, right?" They didn't tell me I had to make a new profile on this website, and then they'd send it to me. But it didn't matter anyways because they blamed each other. Like they were blaming each other, and then I just kind of got screwed. Yeah, that was awful for sure. So yeah, you did bring back memories of last year.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think the thing that sucks about it is like, you qualify to get free tickets to the Super Bowl, and I actually think you probably had a good shot at winning it. Like, you get in, you get free tickets to the Super Bowl. You can bring your kid, or if you wanted to bring me along, that could always be a good thing. But going forward, I hope that EA Sports does that again because I mean, like, well, let me ask you a question. What would you rather have if you were to win? Would you rather win a belt in the MCS or win free Super Bowl tickets? Because you might think that that's an obvious one, but to me, that's kind of a tough one to choose between the two. I might go with Super Bowl tickets, honestly.
Okay, yeah, definitely. I do think, bro. Last year I was really really good, Trey. Like really really good. Like I mean, I was on all the top levels on head to head. It was probably one of my best years since before having the youngest 4 years ago. This year, obviously, I'm not as good. I'm not even close to as good as last year, which sucks. I thought definitely I'd take a step even forward this year and maybe make a live event. I'm being dead honest when I say that because that's what happened in Madden 15 to 16. I made that huge jump and I was just like, damn, I'm legit. But like last year, I mean, I was making singles and all that, and then towards the end of it, for that Super Bowl thing, yeah, I didn't even get the super. I didn't even, bro. I didn't even get the free stuff they were supposed to send me either. They gave me nothing. I felt like I got robbed. But no, I honestly answering your question, like both are respectable. I would go with the MCS belt for me because it would set up YouTube. Like all my tip videos or podcasts would blow up. Like if I went tomorrow and won, let's say I won most feared tournament, Trey, right? It's not going to happen unless like I figure out something spectacular because this year is not my year. I'm just being honest. But let's say I win most feared. I win the belt. I'm on TV. I'm like, go check me out on YouTube. My name, and people find me and like like winning the belt would make us jump from almost 6K on YouTube, which unfortunately I don't know what happened. I don't know why I lost a couple hundred. It looked like they removed like bots or removed dead accounts. I don't know why. It is what it is, but like it'd make us go from almost 6K trade to probably 20,000 if I won a belt, and then streaming and our podcast would blow up. We'd be making money, so I would go with the belt.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that because yeah, it's definitely kind of like an instant gratification because yeah, you get to go to the Super Bowl, but like you said, if you won the belt on the MCS or hell, if even if you like just made the live event, like you said, people would know your name, they'd go to your channel and all that, and you'd be kind of set up to kind of make a living. Well, you know what I mean by say make a living, but make a better living essentially. But yeah, I mean it is interesting. I think it depends on the tickets really because even with like that whole EA thing that they were saying about how it wasn't like they gave you tickets. I guess you flew out. I guess you got to participate in some of the festivities that were there. Did you ever hear anything about like if they actually gone through with their word on if someone did win it or was like other people that were entered it kind of got screwed as well, or like what did you hear, if anything, about that?
Bro, so you're bringing back memories of that time period. So yeah, you if you would have let's say I won, I was supposed to get on the field ticket, on the sideline tickets, which would be dope as f. I'm not even gonna lie, would be dope as f. And then I'd get to go watch like the pro tournament, which like yank yank to be honest. Um, No, I actually talked to a couple of dudes online that got ripped off like me as well. They didn't know that they were supposed to sign up for a different website because, the PlayStation 5 didn't explain that. And then supposedly one guy made it and got the tickets. I don't know if he ended up going or not, but supposedly people are saying this one guy won it all and he was really a nobody. Like last year, bro, I would have probably won it, Trey, to be honest.
Yeah, no doubt. That would definitely be dope as hell. Because it's like, cause if you like get free Super Bowl tickets and say there's like an MCS tournament, you can just show up. You can just show up and say, yeah, you guys are over here sweating, and I'm over here with these sideline tickets and all that. But what made me think about that, and this is for anyone that's listening that maybe if they're bored they could look into this. But there was like a similar controversy that took place in like it was like a WWE game where they had this similar type of thing but with WWE. And the guy that won it was actually an employee, so they kind of rigged the tournament. And there was something else that happened with a baseball game, where like if you pitched a perfect game, you'd get all this stuff, but the guy that won like cheated and he like lowered the settings and all that. So if you're ever bored, you should definitely look into that because it's pretty interesting. But with all that being said, kind of where are you at? Because you did do like the PlayStation tournaments, and your whole goal was to essentially do these like $5 tournaments to pay off Madden for next year. And I don't think like did you end up getting that done? And did they pay you out for that tournament? Because I'm pretty sure they did, right, for that one.
Yeah, actually, okay, I got two-parter for you. So yes, I actually did pay for this Madden, basically with my tournament winnings, the $5 tournament winnings that I did, ended up paying for Madden for the most part for like this game. It definitely brought it down a little bit. I still had to pay for college football, even though it was combined, so it was out of pocket there. But yeah, if it was just for Madden, it'd have been mainly paid for, which is cool, which I'll probably do this summer because until I get the bread even built up for more money games. But no, so get this, Trey. So a few years back when I was doing money games left and right, you remember me doing these. There was a guy on Gamer Saloon that for a month straight he was hustling people with the Cleveland Browns because they were awful. And he'd say, I'll play you with Cleveland. And he would edit their ratings, bro, to make to make them better than they should be. But he'd make it like subtle, and he would do it only against like really good guys. And I think Hollywood is the one who found out and he reported him. The dude ended up getting banned, and people talked about it for like a day. Like, I was wondering why his guys were sticking on me like glue and why they were breaking tackles. So that was wild that people were doing that. But like, I had people that I thought were cool with try to hustle me, bro. So like, when it comes to money, bro, just remember that you either hustling or you're getting hustled.
Yeah, no, that's crazy, and it's crazy too because obviously there's a lot of gamer salute stories. I mean, we can basically spend a whole podcast just going about the stories and the shady people that you dealt with. But I don't even think I even heard about that story, and that's pretty crazy. And I don't even know how that would even be possible. I mean, it's not like you can go. I mean, you can do it offline, but like if I were to go to like the online head-to-head hub and try to edit the rosters, I wouldn't even be allowed to do that. And this is probably like even going back to like what Madden 16, Madden 17. So it's not like there's even like a PC type of thing. So I'm pretty curious on how the hell he was able to even make that possible to do that. But yeah, no, that's crazy. So I guess to kind of bring this full circle, you're grinding, you're doing some streams and all that. Kind of like what do like, what is your plans going forward? I guess for like the next few weeks, or do you plan on doing some more streams and possibly some more tip videos? And kind of what's your um, schedule looking like as far as YouTube going forward
To
recently?
answer your question, Trey, yeah, I don't know how he did it, bro. I just know that I never played him. He ended up getting banned for it. So I don't I have no idea how he did it. I just know like it was like I think Hollywood who caught on to it. So I don't know how he did it. So I couldn't tell you how he did it. I know it was like I think you're right. I think it was Madden 16 or 17. I don't know how he did it. I just know that they were saying that he was editing the roster and like I don't know how he did it, but it also made me give it a flashback when I was down it when our two former crew members of UMC with us, Trey. Uh, I may helped have them do like run the CFM, and then they cheated and tried to give their guys extra points, and a guy caught on, and I had like people quit, and I had to pay them out of pocket to not ruin the rep of UMC. So that kind of sucked. No, I'm trying to figure out. I think I might do the gauntlet tomorrow. Um, in the afternoon, maybe like 1 or 2. It will. I will be streaming it if I do it. I'm not. I'm not playing really well, Trey. I'm just being brutally honest. I'm not playing really well. I'm not completely like locked in like I gotta be. I gotta figure it out because the gauntlet's hell, bro. Like it's every pro in the book. Um, So I'm if I do the gauntlet this weekend, I will stream it. Next week I will be streaming as much as possible. I believe I'm going to do it Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and there will be a tip video coming out by either this weekend or by Monday or Tuesday. I really want to get back into money games, man, but it would have to be in the spring when when it's all over, and then try to do regs and see how that goes. But what I really want to do though, Trey, and I'm being honest when I say this, is if I do money games, especially because it'll be so late in the year, I'll probably try if I can get some money games in. I'll probably do like 100 to 200 plus dollar games just to try to make some hella bank in a couple months and then get out for the year and then see next year if I want to do like money games with the tournament like I did in years past. So we'll see how it goes. But for the short version of the planning, I will be streaming multiple times next week. There will be a tip video coming out. So basically, be on the lookout for that, and hopefully, we'll have some fun, Trey.
Yeah, no doubt. It's definitely fun with the players' lounge. Well, I don't know if Shane's gonna be Players Lounge. Me myself, I know that I'm definitely looking forward to get more into Players Lounge. Probably going to be do some streaming myself with the Players Lounge. I really enjoy Players Lounge. Doing for money. Mr. Shane got you 11. He's a high roller. He's saying he's going to do $200 to $300 games because he's built like that. Me, I just kind of do my whole $5 thing. And I actually been making some pretty decent coin on that, but I love money games. I like tournaments. I like streaming and all that. So I'm looking forward to getting back into it. And when Shane gets back into it in the springtime with money games, I think it's definitely going to be entertaining to watch him. Something else I want to ask you before we get out of here, patch updates. There was one I noticed not too long ago for college football where they did a patch on that. Have you heard anything about when the next patch is going to be coming for Madden or college, or do you think they're kind of going to wait it out until the tournament is done to come out with a new patch?
So, and honestly, Trey, like I don't always want to play like 100 to $300 games because that's dangerous, right? But it does check your heart rate. I'll say that. But like if I started at the start of the year, $15 to $50 games are more my cup of tea. But like I've told you this in the past, and I've been honest. Like I think high rolling money games help me get ready for tournament games because there's no pressure than if you lose a tournament game compared to if you lose a two, three, $400 game. The first time I played a game for $200 plus, I had an adrenaline dump, bro. I had the biggest adrenaline dump. So I think that playing high money games helps you with tournament games. Like there were guys that beat me on ladders in the past that I played them for money and they completely gagged and choked because money is different than losing on the ladder or even losing a single elimination unless I make it to the deep run and it's for like $5,000 each game. Then okay, yeah. Um, but I have heard, wink, wink, that well, I have heard. Never mind, that was dumb. But I have heard that there will be a patch coming for Madden. There will be a patch coming for Madden soon. I think it is going to be maybe in a week and a half. At least that's what I've heard. We'll see what they're going to do. And I think it's going to be a really big patch. But unfortunately, it might be pushed back a little bit with this whole pump fake glitch that came out. I think maybe it might be pushed back a little bit, but it is going to be a big patch when it comes out, Trey.
Alrighty, so you heard it here first. Probably going to be a big patch coming into a week. And again, Shanghai 11 has you covered for any patch notes that comes out both on College Football 25 and Madden 25 whenever it drops. He's got you posted. He does a good job at covering the patches, and also he has some pretty good insight because he's pretty invested in like the competitive side and also the gameplay side, so he can do a good job at explaining to maybe the casual eye that kind of doesn't really know what's going on. He can explain it to you in that way in a more hardcore sense because he's a pretty hardcore guy. Pause. But yeah, no, definitely check out the Shanghai U11 channel on that. He'll keep you updated on patches going forward. And for this edition of the West Coast Podcast, we're going to be signing off. We appreciate you guys, as always, for checking us out. The people that are in the chat, Mr. X Fan and Rose, we appreciate you guys for being in the chat. And everyone else that wants to check us out on TikTok, YouTube, we appreciate you guys. If there's any topic you guys want us to cover in depth or have a question, be sure to let us know and we will talk about it on the West Coast Podcast. We'll be coming at you guys in 2 weeks. Not this Friday, but the Friday after that at 10:30. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, I'll throw it back over to Shane to close us out for another West Coast Podcast in the books. We appreciate you guys for the support.
All right, Trey, another good one. Everybody, I'm gonna have Trey. This is for you, bro. I want you to pick a Halloween question to post in the community channel side on Shane Got You 11. I want you to pick 4 things that are about Halloween, and we will have a vote, and we'll talk about that topic. So, like for example, Trey, like Halloween candy, Halloween movies. Do you believe this? Do you believe that? So, like 4 of them. We'll post in the community channel side. We'll have you guys vote, and we'll talk about that topic that got voted for the most on the Halloween edition, which will be October 25th, like Trey said, at 10:30 p.m. Pacific time. So Trey, your job for the next 2 weeks is to find 4 topics about Halloween and have me post it in the community side of our channel. And the winner we'll talk about. We'll talk about that topic, but we will post it within the week. so we'll give you plenty of time to vote, you guys. So for Trey, I'm Shane. This was the West Coast Podcast.